I'm afraid there's some bad news, son. The DoD plan to bomb out the Rawson flood
This is
barrier,
new.
drown the lower city in an attempt to
Or
wipe
different.
out the Ceph. In all probability, this insanity is gonna go ahead despite my protests, and I don't want you underground when it does. You must get to the heart of the alien structure with all speed, Alcatraz, and then exit. We don't have much time.
Yeah, dialogue change.
I hesitate to use cheap Earth fauna analogies. God knows I'm going to start sounding like Nathan Gould if I do. But what we're dealing with here probably answers to the equivalent of an insect hive. The level of alien infestation in these tunnels is likely to be high. Find Reeves and his men. I lost contact when they entered the submarine system. But watch yourselves. I want you out of there in one piece.
Open fire!
Will depart every 15 minutes from the designated platform.
Tactical options available. Nanovision enabled. Nanovision enabled. Nanovision enabled.
Radio Free Manhattan here, and here for those of you still clinging on in this shattered city. I got a message of hope for you people, or the next best thing.
My men. Well, that explains why their tops went down. I had hope. Well, never mind. Casualties of war, I suppose. We all make sacrifices. See if you can find their scanning gear. Might give us a little advance warning of what we're heading into here. Mitchell Reeves. Aside from Tara Strickland, he was the best I had. From the look of the feed I'm getting from you, the spore loop is running near dormant levels.
Destroy the spore conduit. Access the spore silo. Warning. Explosion imminent. That's
Excellent. Now, we need to get you inside the central structure. Looking at the schematics Reeves and his team managed to transmit, I'd suggest you try to blast loose one of the spoke seals and use the resulting rupture to effect entry. Look for any weakness in the structure. Magnificent, isn't it? Like some vast coral ecology. Can we even doubt that these creatures evolved in an ocean?
sabotage the spore conduit. Interface with the spore veins.
Oh, it doesn't work anymore. Good. It was a thing that shouldn't even work. But I had the grab, and normally his normal melee attack would cancel the grab. But what the odd game would do is I still get the full grab damage, aka I instantly one-shot him and only did an animation cancel of sorts.
That seems to be working. Good. But you'll need to repeat the procedure with the other spokes. That should bring the whole system up to full pressure.
Nanovision enabled.
When you're so sure that you got everyone. Eh.
Nanovision enabled.
Nope, no good changes. The second game actually looks more like no changes in general, but RTX is not helping. It's not helping. I'm gonna babble about it in a moment, but wanna make sure that this summer I got everyone here, not that I get backstabbed again. So, the thing is, I thought I was feeling really out of place in this game, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And the first problem was, I had the brightness up to 40. Let's do that really quick. And suddenly, everything looks like PS2 graphics. Okay, maybe PS3, but every texture suddenly is like, you can see how they look ugly as fuck. They look aged. And I had the same problem like with the Metro, where I could see it the first time really hard, where like dark places are suddenly bright, and bright places are even
You're
brighter.
having the desired effect, but you have to hurry. Those fools at the Pentagon are getting ready to act.
You can even well see the pixelation there. So, no, brightness. So turning down the brightness actually helps this a lot. I babbled about this like 3 times now in my entire playthrough. That color can be enhanced by adding black. So your eye gets more focus on the color, and then suddenly a little bit of color looks way more like it actually is. Not brighter. I really restrain myself there to not say bright, because bright is, you focus more on the color, and that is why it feels there's more of the color there. Indeed. And that's why I felt for the most part that I would be really out of place. Maybe I should have kicked the car into him. Is it gonna be close? Okay. So yeah, you can really tell that these are really old textures, but with just new tech. Like even the Crysis Remastered had not that much of a problem with the textures. Because, well, as you saw, even the models looked scuffed in Crysis 1, so you knew it was a game from 2006, and with that you are automatically more forgiving and stuff. So this one from 2011 is a bit not in that ballpark. Man, Crysis Remastered that day, I would have spotted me there. Yeah. I forgive a lot of shit Crysis 2 has, because I believe in an information where I do not know if I had gotten it through misinformation, or like no essayists or news article I could find could reflect on this.
Good.
So
Now let's see what the soup will do.
let's it play out real quick.
Excellent. Recognition, communication, exchange. The protocols are compatible. More resistance than I expected. You'd better. Would you excuse me, please?
So, this is a good spot to highlight the chromatic highlighting that your suit has. You know, the hands. Like, I remember them looking way more white, and got even irritated to the point that I went back into my archive and looked at my older Crysis 2, and actually I was wrong about that.
Carefully. The decision is made. The bombers are in the air. Get out of there. I've dispatched a helicopter to pick you up, but you'll have to
I
move.
misremembered that a little
Get to
bit,
higher ground.
but
Hurry.
definitely the normal Crysis has way more highlighting, you know, way more framing of parts, and so muscles, biotech muscles on my body look way cooler because they have this highlighting. And
That's it.
that is something I noticed a lot in the remastered version here. That this highlighting has been severely damaged. Severely damaged by the RTX tech, since there's now more light that is going around, because I'm growing more sure of it that game devs just didn't think about how it would work. Like, I had this suspicion in in the first Crysis.
Nanoform profiling complete. Compatibility registration underway.
That they developed a way to easily implement older games or files into the new editor, and so they were had an easier time replicating the games. And that is what you really hard see here. Like, Crysis 2 is almost one-to-one the same game. Like, already in the normal remaster, the first remaster, you go a few steps and you easily could make out some changes that they made. But here, everything is like the old game, but it has the better game engine and RTX. And you can see, like, the lighting looks really nice. Yeah? RTX is really dope in terms of lighting, and it will only get better, which is nice. But it does not help this game.
What the hell happened to you?
In fact, it shows the age of the game more than it helps it look cool. And Crysis was always more about looking cool. Like, the misinformation that I have in my head, because I cannot reconfirm it, but I'm 100% of it that it's right. So is Crysis 2 was an emergency project because they were running out of money for Crysis 3. And so they used what they had at the time and went with a way more smaller project. But the reason why I say this is misinformation is because I cannot reconfirm it. Like, and I watched also multiple video essays on this game, and they even said that Crysis 2 is fully fledged, had a full crew and everything, and I'm having heavy doubts because I heard this different story. But then again, like, my friends at the time also were convinced that Far Cry 2 was a way more superior game to this game. So maybe, which is just, it is true, but it isn't at the same time. Like, Far Cry wants to tell a story and have a massive overworld added to it, while the first Crysis, you know, is just an action shooter. I don't know, actually. The only thing I know, what I didn't know, what I learned through watching essays, is that Crytek was doing the Far Cry series and were giving up the Far Cry license for Far Cry 2 because they didn't want to get stuck. Similar how an actor can resemble one character in all of his acting, like, for example, Daniel Radcliffe, you will always see him as Harry Potter. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, you will always remember him as The Rock, and not as the character that he is playing. So Crytek had these similar feelings. They didn't want to be only known for one game franchise. They wanted to branch out, and EA reached out and secured their funding. Which is really cool. Yeah. The reason... I thought I was safe. I even was about to say press the cloak button. Feels bad, man. I didn't uncloak. Yeah, the reason why I don't use the game engine names is, for one, I'm bad with names, but for the other part is Far Cry 1 was in the Cry Engine 1, I think, and then Crysis was in the second Cry engine, so there's where my brain would get extremely confused, so I try to stay away from names of the engines there. What I definitely can see as an obvious flaw of this game is that the AI is way more clunky. Even if it were a carbon copy, because that's what it feels like to me. Ooh, let me in! The AI gets way more stuck and has a lot more trouble. Why are you not going? But yeah, I completely forgot the point I was making. Something about game engine names, and well, like I said, it confuses me. So I rather stay away from the specific names of the game engine. But yeah, chronologically speaking, Son of Rome came out, I think, after Crysis 2, or no, after, I think. Who knows? And what was I even saying? I should restart.
Alright, regroup and reload. We're gonna hold this position and await reinforcements.
Shouldn't I find a sniper rifle here? Oh, here it is. I'm pretty sure that they really could were just copying this game into the new engine, because it's really nice to see how accurate this game is to the normal Crysis 2.
It'd really be better for all concerned if you reached us in one piece. I'm doing what I can to provide you with cover, but please try to
My grenades
some caution.
are so off timing.
At the risk of sounding melodramatic.
But but there are a lot of small things that really annoy me. Like I said, the lighting, which makes the textures look even older than they actually are. But the thing they have fixed is I can no longer grab the aliens while I am dealing damage, taking damage. Because I think I really like doing in this sector was I would grab them and while mid melee animation. So when they melee hit, then would hit me, my animation would get cancelled, they would instantly die, but I would also still let me aim. Why can I not aim? But I would still be able to get the kill animation off. And fuck you, game. Okay. Can I now aim? Yes, okay. So, that's no silence. Do not need silence. No scope, easy. Like even now, where I reduce the lighting in this game, like I still can easily make out the edges. My suspense of disbelief is heavily damaged by how epic the graphics are on one side and how stale they are on the other side. So, but that is a problem I did not see in Crysis 3, or it was less effective in Crysis 3. Like I said, I only started it for the first section just to try out the graphic settings. Where you get free where Psycho frees you from the cage, but yeah, not further than that. So a thing I always forget is that there is a HMG. No, I have weak legs. Yeah, like I said, I believe that Crysis 2 was a way to generate money for the third, which is why I never really judged it. Plus, I am of the general opinion that all three games are demos are demo reels for their game engine, for the Crytek game engine. So I never expected a great story out of either of those. I just enjoyed the gameplay, which is the main part of the Crysis series, eh? Like, even if you think about it, this game lets you off with a dilemma, but if you don't pay attention to the dilemma, you will not notice it. Because you already are confronted with it. God, having cross-head disabled is really hard with HMGs. Yeah, yeah. I always saw them as tech demos for the game engine. So, and then when I thought about it recently, like I think in general a game can get away with having good gameplay and a bad story. But a game cannot get away as easily when it has a good story and bad gameplay. That was just a random thought that came to me when I thought about this stuff.
All units, this is Charlie Command. Rally point is under attack. We need immediate assistance.
Copy, Charlie. We are en route. Meantime, our point man is inbound. Call sign Albert.
Lol.
He'll be with you momentarily.
How did I get stuck there? Eh? Thank God I can use I'm a vehicle magician. Roadkill. polish is also a great factor. You're right there.
Delta Company,
Um,
this is Cyclops 7. Approaching the LZ. Stand by for area
But I was
traffic.
more thinking in a more general sense. But yeah, polish, like definitely in our time right now, where a lot of shitty games can get away with just our really powerful components. Like I was talking about it at the start of the stream as well. Like the Ryzen series and the 10th series of Intel, they really knock the performance out of the park. They are incredibly great computer components. Getting stuck at every edge feels bad, man. Yeah, I was getting a little bit nostalgic. Like, I never really had a great game engine. I always invested in shittier parts. Like, the best computer I had, where I did the most research for, was with an FX 6300 processor. The great thing about it 6300 is that it's a shit processor, but it was made of an old model of the so-called black cores, and black cores are made for overclocking. Extremely high resistant to electric currents. And the FX series was the first one, I think, to break the 5 GHz mark. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. It's something along those lines, definitely.
Currently escalating beyond my control. Your suit is working at the Spore right now, building a biocode bridge between our technology and the
I think so. It has been some time, so please forgive me if I'm not super accurate on that. But it's definitely omega cool. And then my graphics card for the longest time was a 750 Ti. And man, that is a great graphics card. That thing can even can play almost every game on 75 frames. The only problem is, because that is how I learned what VRAM is and how much you need to orientate your game on at the state of VRAM. Because I only had 2 gigabytes, which means if I play games in higher resolution than 720p, I'm gonna have a bad time. Because it really is as simple as that VRAM with 2 gigabytes like that's 720p what you can do. If you want more performance, you need more a bigger picture, you need more VRAM. Oh, give me snip. Yeah, and today for 1080p fluently, like like the calculation was something along the lines of you need to calculate the bits first, which is height times width times 32 for the operating coloring coding. And then you have your bits, and then you divert it by 8, if diverted is the right word. And then you have your bytes. And then you divert it 3 times by 1024. The first one is for making it kilobytes, megabytes, and gigabytes. And then you have your number of how much one frame will cost you.
Heads up! Gunship incoming! This is it, Marines! Line her up! Taking cover! Incoming fire! Down! Down!
I thought that thing would never go down. Good job, Alcatraz. Chino was right about you. Alcatraz, over here. Punch it, man. Let's go.
It is a funny thing that you bring that up, because
Over here,
like
man. Come on.
an interesting thing that I have heard from like I went on a little journey on how powerful that graphics card really is, and it turns out that that Nvidia in general went way too heavy on the clock rates on that thing, similar to a normal overclock dude would do. Like the first video I watched was from Lens Tech Tips, who just tried to push the performance down and have it work on a 500 wattage power supply, which the video I disliked because he tried a 650 wattage power supply, but he noticed that it was still providing up to 700, 800 wattage. So he had the suspicion that it probably was a higher grade power supply, but sold as a 650. Probably the same principle as one might know from processors. Like if a processor doesn't fit a certain benchmark, it can still go. You clock it down to the lower spectrum, like for example the 5600, you know, then you clock it down to the 5400 and disable some cores and sell it as a. So sometimes you have this 1% chance every time when you buy a CPU to actually have a better one that just doesn't live up to its actual name. So that he didn't try a second 650 wattage power supply was a bit meh, because it was a downgrade. It was a higher quality one, but he went straight to the 500 wattage, which in the end saves time, but it makes him seem not as through as things as he might want to appear to other people. But it was interesting just to see, you know, hobby project. Can we run a 4080 or 4090 was what he had on a 500 wattage supply, and he succeeded. It was fluent, it was non-breaking in performance and everything. And I suck at shooting. Still. So then I went to der Bauer. The B is with an 8. And he often gets also referenced by Linus Tech Tips and Gamer Nexus because he likes doing through high technical videos. So having him here talk about the power efficiency, how everything works in that thing. Like, I only understand half the video, but I understood that one graph that he showed where moment. Where the power curve basically was like this. Yeah. Wattage, FPS. And then here this was barely even raising. So he noticed that about here you would be I think 600 or 550 wattages, and I found that extremely interesting. And he criticized Nvidia for even attempting that, because if they just cut the graphics card on that level, dumb it down basically, they could have saved on that huge of a cooler, you know, because the main problem the 4K series has is that their cooling system will basically break the main board if it's not also angled on a, like, if it doesn't grip the case. You know, the mainboard slot alone cannot hold a 4000 series graphics card. It will just break. Plus the efficiency, the overall efficiency is just downright bad for those last 5% of FPS. Like you pump like 300 watt for I don't know, like 25 frames, something like that. Like, what the fuck? And then Gamer Nexus went even as far as to just say it's a 450 wattage GPU. Like, you shouldn't even attempt to put more power than 450 wattage through. Now, I didn't observe what Gamer Nexus did to come to that conclusion. It just made sense in my universe at that point. So I just agreed, because it seems reasonable. You know, the curve that the Bauer showed me made sense. That 450 wattage was about the fall-off point, where every wattage would only give 25% of the previous power to the system. Exactly my point here. And then there is this scandal, or was the scandal of the 470 series being about as powerful as the 80 series, as the 4080. So they took the 4070 off the market, which makes their entry graphics card $1,300. Who has that kind of money? Seriously. Who has that insane amount of money? And that is what I fear of the future. That will become like they have still not produced a 60 or a 50 version of that graphics card. So that means they want, like, if they don't produce a cheaper one, like the supply of the 20 and the 30 series at some point will run out. And then $1,300 is the cheap graphics card. And I'm sitting here and thinking, eh?
Heads up, Alcatraz! Incoming!
You know? Like, on one hand, I really like seeing a graphics card that is that insanely powerful. Like the 40, 80 and 90 really knocked it out of the park with an performance up to 200% to its predecessor. And that is dope. That really is dope. But the amount of money required to have to use that power, like,
What the hell do you think you're doing? This is Jacob Hargrave. I order you to
I cannot finance this. All my life I've been on the lower end on consumption even. You know, I come from a family that has a lot of children, so I'm used to having stuff passed down from generations and stuff, just for money reasons. Plus, when my father lost his job, we really had to hunker down on money on many ends. But we had a good thing, so we were not poor. I need to make that clearly. Like, I know how poverty looks like, and we were definitely not poor. We could not live the standard anymore that we had, but we were definitely not poor. And I really need to clarify that, because I helped and worked a lot with people that are actually poor, and I do not want to disrespect those, so that's why I'm backpedaling here so much. But yeah, but I find it really impressive that in even this short of a time, that a like the 30 series had this already bad reputation of using a lot of energy to generate their power, but then to have this recently another generation that actually doubles the performance. That is impressive. And the prices were the same. The only difference was no more Corona scalping. And no more Bitcoin mining. And in that sense, I wanna give some leniency to the Nvidia corporation, because their expectation of what a customer would be able to pay was also put way up because of the scalpers and Bitcoin miners. So they expected a customer to be able to afford those prices. Of course, there were still arsehole, unrealistic prices, but we cannot ignore that happened. And this is still the funniest thing in the entire game. Ooh. This gun is so fun, but it has so much recoil that I cannot control it. Yeah, and this is welcome in literally the perfect RTX example of why it sucks, or that does not really look at what they are doing. You know? I cannot see shit at the end of this corridor. Ah, damn it, game. Here it is. I was missing this. And it makes sense, you know. You look at the light in your room, you cannot see what's behind it. It makes sense, but
Nothing out there.
also it makes no sense because, well, we are in a damn video game. Fuck your realism. I'm in a super soldier nano suit. So yeah. Oh, what was that game? There was a game where that was also absolutely unrealistic, but then in the end scenario I went into the trap of using realism to defend it. My favorite spot to power game.
Take him down, gentlemen. Maximum force. I want this abomination ended now.
What are you doing, Lockhart?
I'm doing what the Crynet board should have done
All right,
3 years ago,
Alcatraz.
man. I'm
The
pulling
elevators
the
and
plug.
security gates are all offline.
You're throwing
You'll
away
need to
our only
reboot
hope,
the system
Lockhart.
from the main
You
desk.
fool. You think you can hide from the future? We have no choice in this.
That dog won't hunt now, Hargrave. The board sides with me this time. You're not buying your bullshit anymore. I'm in command here. Now you will stand down.
Hey, commands.
Rejoin Chino at Central Station. Regroup with the mobile.
Alcatraz, if you can hear me, Listen, man, I'm sorry. Can't hold here. Repeat, cannot hold.
No,
I'm
Chino.
moving the squad back to Central Station. Get there if you can, man. We're gonna need you.
What a goddamn
Thumb your ears!
mess!
Block it out!
Paris Revolution.
Oh, his dialogue has been reworked so much.
Guys, you'd better get out of there. I go now to deal with Lockhart. We will speak in due course.
And I don't even know why they reworked it that much. He, like they maybe tried to make him more realistic or emotional, or the opposite, since he is, you know, a piece of frozen meat, to make him more robotic. But his original dialogue is more than fine. But I want to highlight something here. That's why I pause, because recently OBS had an update, and I'm very happy that it had this update. Because some time ago, Linus Tech Tip highlighted this tech for some ATI graphics card, and now. And back then it was more a thing to look forward to, and now OBS had a update with that prototype encoding tech, and as you can see, or should see, I don't have the stream open. Wait, I can just... There should not be any blurrage in those files. Those files should be almost crystal clear. I cannot wait to go like a grass field and then just and see if the grass renders straight, because holy shit, this AA1 or A1 tech that just got put into NVENC is so freaking insanely accurate. Like, I was a bit scared that it might explode my graphics card when I played Crysis Remastered, as I would have cranked it up to maximum right away. But when I played Crysis 2 last stream, I just went for it, and holy moly, is it the result of non-blurrage and stuff. This is new to me. Was this here always? No, the exact opposite. They highly improved the encoding software. Stuff that like it is extremely easy now to... I'm fucking this up. Let's restart. Let's do this again. Yeah, I'm fucking it up because I'm talking. Ooh. Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. Yeah, they improved the NVENC codec. And the end result is freaking massive. It is... yeah.
It's using sonic pulse. My men can't... We don't... My men...
Yeah, when I... what was it? I was looking something else up because something didn't make sense in the menu, or something new popped up, but it wasn't the encoder. Ah yeah, there was suddenly an option to that OBS would look over a frame twice before sending it out. And that was new, and I wanted to see what it was. And then there was the explanation for the new coder.
Over here.
Ah yeah, the war part. Now this will decide how much my graphics card will actually melt and do the encoding. Because right now, like I trashed my 1060 graphics card. I'm so sad. It was an impulse, an uncontrolled moment, and then that thing did history. And when it was even able to render almost everything in 1080p, man, I'm so emotionally attached to that thing, and it's right here. And I broke a energy converter on it. But yeah, that's why I currently play game and encode on my 2070 Super OC. And it is working pretty good. I'm not cracking 70%.
And we will hold this station until it's done. You have at most 1 hour to make your way back here. After that, you're gonna be walking home. Speed is of the essence, gentlemen. We are leaving town.
There are these coolers that you can and should buy if you have the space in your case, called the Arctic Cooler Extreme or Arctic Extreme Cooler. Those are 3 fans, and you get a set of aluminium blocks that you can glue on, and the glue is giving with the package, that you can glue onto your hardware. And so you can improve the overall cooling of your graphics card or mainboard or CPU parts. Little me decided to not pay attention, and instead of horizontally gluing them onto the energy converters, make them vertical, which resulted in the original cooler no longer fitting correctly on it. Actually, there are 2 whole millimeters to it didn't let me recloak. Did I sprint? But yeah, so when I had the initially it wasn't a problem because I could just like it was my main GPU way back when, and the Arctic cooler would not allow that thing to get hotter than 50. And yeah, it's dope, and you can just get it. I think $80 is currently the market price. I'm a little bit uncertain on it. Yeah, but when I got my 2070. I would have to put the 1060 into my secondary graphics slot, which was too small. The secondary graphics spot is right beside my power supply. is right beside my power supply, and so I had to crunch on the old box cooler. And looking back, like the lines of the box cooler go horizontal, and I had the cooling bodies that I glued on vertical. And there is, like I said, those 2 millimeters of space. Oh, no.
Sparky, give me a sit rep. This is Charlie Actual. The library's bombed out. Heavy civilian casualties. We're en route to link up with Bravo. Understood. Please, the survivors, and get back here ASAP. Clock's ticking, Kill. Roger that.
All units, we're pushing through into the park. Let's go. Let's go.
Push through to the
And
park.
so I screwed it on, and it was cooling good. Like, that thing didn't. I only would use it for OBS rendering or for video rendering, and it would never get hotter than 60. Like max temp, when I would use it for games or stress tested with firmware, it would go to 72. No, with the distance problem, it spiked to 83, and then I was like, yeah, let's stop this testing, you know. Like, it rendered no problem and everything, so I was like, yeah, the stress test is nice and all, but I'm not gonna use it as the main graphics card anyways. And then while gaming and rendering, it never went over 60 degrees, so it was well handling its load. I still don't know what. The LTEC launcher is weird. And most games never. Ooh, too late. I pressed reload before armor mode. So most games could get rendered. Like, I streamed almost everything. Like, I think Horizon Zero Dawn was the first game I had to switch to something else. And I think I just crunched it through because I would stream it with 5.5 MBs, 5,500 in the line, and then so bad. But I would record it on my hard drive with 12,000, so that then looked kinda decent or acceptable. And then I upscaled that to 2K, and then it looked also good on the YouTubes. Also, just having the thought of having one graphics card and one streaming card really takes off, puts your mind at ease that no graphics card will overload by anything. They have their jobs, and as long as they can do it, it's gonna be fun. Munition.
Flank the target! Area is clear. Let's move out.
And yeah, the rendering power of a 1060 is really impressive. Like, the, even even games would often rather use the 1060 for physics effects instead of the 2070, because the I don't know exactly why, but something about physics effects just was way better rendered on that little one.
Area's clear. Let's move out. Yeah!
The biggest awesome moment my 1060 had when I bought myself a 1070 Streamline, a jet screen, because the 1070 would not be able to really outperform the 1060 in frame rate. It would outperform in graphical clarity, like I was suddenly able to play everything not on medium but on high, but the frame rate would always be similar, like 10% different and stuff, even on medium and low settings. When I would downgrade and just put the settings low, they would always go head to head. But for some reason the 1070 was able to still put everything on high and have the same frames. Yeah, it does, right? And chronologically speaking, it would make kind of sense, since I was using a this is so bright. This is so bright. Like, we are evening to night hours. Why is this so bright? What is with my mouse sensibility? It went rocket speed. But yeah, I always upgrade my graphics card first, and then I'm gonna upgrade my CPU and stuff. So when I had my 1070, I would then get a Ryzen 5 5600X, since he's bugged out the living hell. Holy fuck. I would then get the 5600X, and even with that, it still had the same performance. Like, the gap went from 10% to 15%, but it was just weird. But I was so proud of my little trooper processor, you know. Especially since it was the Inno 3D, so it was a mini version with only one fan, and everyone would always hate on minis as gaming stuff. But in general, they're like 5% weaker as the normal edition. But there's so much lore to this GPU, and now I have crushed it, man. When I got it from something we call eBay Kleinanzeigen. It's basically a flea market for used material, like eBay, but it's more localized. Like it has now become more like the actual eBay, but originally it was planned that you would easily find someone, you could just go to his house and get the part, and that was the intention. But then with time it became like its parent, eBay. And back then, the 1060 series had an edition with $120 for the 3 gigabytes 1060, or I think 180 or 170 for the 6 gigabyte variant. And then I found someone on eBay flea market that would sell his 1060 with 6 gigabytes for 120. So back then, yeah, I was still way more nitpicky about guarantees, warranties, not guarantees, warranties. So when you buy on the flea market, you do no longer have warranty, right? Unless you have the receipt or something. So yeah, I got this 6 gig thing for cheap. And even now it could still be working, because all I did was cracking the cooling component, the heat sink of the power converter. So in theory, that trooper could still be going. But I'm scared. I don't have a testing PC, so if suddenly something short circuits, it would go through my main PC.
Alcatraz, right? Staff Sergeant Rayner. Man, we could use your help here. Demolition squad rigged the Onyx building at the end of the street. We're gonna bring it down and block the Squid mortar fire. But the safety breakers have tripped. Someone's gotta get in there. Flip again. Set for advancing. We gotta do this now.
Boing. Yeah, but the cool thing is, or the good and the bad thing is that I went and no, I need to tell the full story. It makes no sense. So the reason why I even attempted to dismount the... Why are you not reloading? Is that I wanted my sister to get that GPU, but she can also not fit a 3-fan cooling system into her case. So I attempted to remove those heat sinks that have been on there for years now. And I actually don't get how. Like, people have been recommending strong alcohol and nail polish. So I went with the more aggressive, at least, like 99% alcohol is more aggressive than any nail polish you could get. Nail polish remover, sorry. And for some reason, a lot of people are whinging about alcohol and nail polish on their parts. When I also read that it would be better to put the thing into the oven and bake it for a little bit. In theory, the math checks out. Because all you wanna do is you wanna heat up the cooling paste or the glue that is underneath it. But the glue had been there for, I think, 5 years? 5 or 6 years. So there was no wetness left. So baking that thing was not an option. Yeah, baking that thing was not an option in my head. But I then decided to go with nail polish, since 99% alcohol is hard to get here. I could probably go... I could probably go into an apothecary and get that, but there's the stuff for sick people, not for... I wanna see if I can remove, I think, from my PC stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to gift that card to my sister, since she only has a 1050, maybe a Ti, but she wants to play Ark Survival. You know, the dinosaur Pokemon game. And a 1050 is not to play. Even when she was getting that graphics card, I was telling her just wait a month, save a little bit more money, and go with a 1060 or even better. Like every every month she would take, every month would result into a better tier of graphics card. But she was impatient, so it is what it is. I'm stressing out so much. Can they please stop here? Man. But hey, I guess war waits for no one. I just started thinking to myself, hey, I haven't done this gaming and talking thing in ages. Like literally ages. Like I would stream to maybe 1 or 2 people every now and then. But gaming and talking, I haven't done that in like 4 to 5 years. It was even a thing that is really hard to do in general. My brain is gonna explode tomorrow. It's gonna be so hilarious. But it's like the sport pain, you know? When you know you train for something at some point, so you accept the pain of the moment, kind of thing. There's more to say. But yeah, I decided to present it to her. I tried to experiment, but I was not able to get the nail polish really to the glue part. Yeah, best weapon of the game. Semi-automatic, iron sight, one shot. Hell yeah.
Green on 2. One more to go. Come on, man.
So, And so I went slowly. I used a fruit pick, a iron fruit pick, to slowly remove parts of the glue, you know, little scraps and stuff. And then I would. And then I would apply new nail polish and stuff. Yeah, I would lightly crank maybe a screwdriver. Lightly, very lightly. I cannot stress enough that I was really careful till I had a moment of weakness. Because I already had removed 1 of 3. Then I was like, if I just crank a little bit harder here, what could possibly go wrong? It made a break for it. And yes, I'm actually running away from this fight. So yeah, I had my moment of weakness, cranked a little bit more. Then I had a third of the cooling component in my hand. Then I decided to say, fuck it, I've broken it anyway. And wait, I'm going the wrong way. And did the spindle, the copper part of it was moved by like 20-30 degrees. So I decided to correct that and bend it back. But I noticed how extremely loose it was already. So I tried to just try my luck and see how far I could go. And in the end, I got the heats. The aluminium heatsink removed, but at the cost of 2/3 of the original factory heatsink. So I succeeded, but at what cost? But the copper never bent to a state where it would fall off, or I would worry that now when you bend metal it will get smaller, more rounder and stuff, and you know that is suddenly a part that would be extremely unstable, like a breaking point. That didn't happen. So that's why I'm certain that if I connect it into a PC system, it might still work. But I should also think about how I wanna cool that that open component, you know. And once I have figured that out, I will continue that as a hobby project. But right now, I am hella scared. What? Fuck you, game. Pushed me off. It pushed me off. Got pushed off, so it's better anyways. No.
Hell yeah!
as fire teams. Evacuation will begin from the lower level platforms immediately. Medical teams, report there right away. Leave your equipment where it is. Bring only the living with you. Bravo Company to assist. I want armed escort detailed for each train. Alpha and Echo Companies, you will hold the upper levels and station perimeter until primary evacuation is complete. Smooth and fast, gentlemen. We leave no one behind.
But yeah, that brought me back then to the same problem, because I still want to upgrade my sister's gaming rig. So I went back to the flea market, and I see that currently 16 60s and 2060s are quite low, at low value. Like some 2060s even went as cheap as 140 bucks.
Lower your weapon. Identify yourself.
Stand down! Stand down! He's a Marine. Dr. Gould says it's Alcatraz.
Gould. Goddamn flake. What's he know?
Stand down. Let him through.
And the one I was now able to secure for her was 170.
Is there really a man in there?
Yeah.
Great. You don't look so good. What the hell happened to you?
So she's gonna be surprised when she suddenly has a GPU that is 3 times as strong as the one she has currently.
Fuck it. There's nothing we can do. Gotta be something, man.
Jesus. That's my wife in there, you bastard. You let me in. You let me in with her. Hold still, please, sir.
God damn it, give me a weapon. I know how to handle myself.
I
This
don't
goes
care.
down, you know you're gonna need every man you can get behind the trigger.
What are you gonna do? Can't
But-
do that, pal.
Man, I'm even teased to get one of those for myself, but it's something I don't necessarily need.
US Army, just like
That's my main argument why I haven't gotten one of those. Plus, I'm hoping that maybe I can snatch her 1050, and maybe then with that as encoder. Man, but the 1050 is so weak. Yeah, but plus the 1050 that she has seems to have a VRAM error, since every now and then her PC black screens under if it's fully underload.
This city is under martial law. Yes, I can see how well that's
Good
going
to see
for
you made it,
You're
man.
not listening to me. We have to. Alcatraz, you made it.
Good to have you aboard, Marine. My men speak highly of you. Shit, most of them are downright scared of you.
He's not some grunt you could just send to the front line.
He's under my command now. We need all the manpower we can get to hold this place until the evacuation is complete.
I have personally never figured out hardware problems like that, but I've watched a little bit, and it would be a nice experience to finally test that thing out myself. And if it goes wrong, I'm gonna
That's the best I can do for you.
hope that I can disable the VRAM and just use the cores, you know, the GPU
My
cores.
priority is the evacuation.
Or maybe just switch off that one
I'm sorry.
VRAM that is damaged.
Chino, get him to the trains.
Sir. Come on, Doc. We gotta go.
Alcatraz, you're with me.
Yeah, but removing that VRAM, I don't think I'm capable of doing that, because my fingers are quite not itchy, but they tremble a lot. I think that's the word. They move a lot without my control.
Gould there showed up saying he escaped from Tara Strickland in the chaos. Bullshit. Tara Strickland was a decorated Navy SEAL before she went off the rails. I gotta figure she cut him loose. But why would she do something like that?
And the best part about this scenario is that the worst part is that my nephew is currently into learning how to build your own server and stuff.
Look at these people.
And in that case, it doesn't matter how great or shitty your graphics card is. So that's gonna be the backup plan. But yeah, back to Crysis. You see that lighting stick there, lighting pole. That is my main subject or my main hate focus, or what the devs are not correctly looking at, because that thing spams so much light through the entire room. Yeah, main suspect. There's the word. Yep.
I was at Lingshan. I saw Strickland die. When Tara heard, she just cracked. Drink, drugs, dishonorable discharge. Her father must be turning in his grave. And now she shows up working private for Hargreave?
Martinez, what is it?
They're breaching the main hall, sir.
No more time.
Martinez, get down on the platforms and tell Dickerson to get the first train rolling out. Our clock just stopped.
Sir!
Station, son. Main hall. Get up there and buy these people some time.
Come on, man. This way. Hurry!
This already had me always be rolling my eyes in the main game. Like, the first tutorial teaches you to open doors with V. And then after the tutorial part, each door gets opened with F.